that's one of the funny things about like how freight tech finally emerged, right? Because you're talking about trucking, one of the most analog, old school type industries, to get them evolved, for lack of a better word, into utilizing technology. It's been a pretty long haul, pun of course intended, on stream always. Welcome to Stream, a trucktractortrailer.com production. My name is Zach Miller. I'm your host, and I'm honored to be joined today by Matthew Leffler, who is the Vice President for Trailer Solutions at V-HUB, and probably somebody who you're familiar with if you watch trucking and freight-related podcasts. Matthew, welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Zach, thank you so much for having me, man. I am so excited to be here.
I know. I'm so excited to have you. I'm so glad we were finally able to do this. And the timing is perfect because the last couple of episodes here on Stream, we've really hammered home this topic of freight tech, this sort of emerging industry here in the freight and logistics sector. And, V-HUB is right there. V-HUB is on the forefront of freight tech.
Absolutely, man. The thing that we know about the freight tech industry is the problems that affect our supply chain aren't new problems. These are problems that have been around for a long time. What's different, what's fascinating is the technology that can solve those problems has so rapidly increased. So I love the conversation. I love the topic.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's one of the funny things about like how freight tech finally emerged, right? Because you're talking about trucking, one of the most analog, old school type industries, to get them evolved, for lack of a better word, into utilizing technology. It's been a pretty long haul, pun of course intended, on stream always. But with between the just boom in e-commerce combined with the pandemic, the industry didn't have a choice. It was freight tech or nothing, really, at this point.
The fundamental thing I think about the pandemic is it has been the great accelerator of the trends and the forces that shape our supply chain. What you've kind of outlined about the reluctance of the freight companies to adopt innovation, it's not so much that they didn't understand how to affect it. The challenge was this is a fragmented industry.
Yes.
It is incredibly fragmented, and every single part of the supply chain is fragmented, from maintenance to dedicated to less than truckload. And because there's that fragmentation, it means there's silos. And there's only one way to break silos down: technology. And when you have the right people, the right processes, and the right technology, then you can compete in a way that's very effective. And I think companies now realize that if you haven't been paying attention to technology, you better start, because you don't have an option anymore. You're exactly right.
I couldn't agree more. Is that, with V-HUB, when we're trying to build partners with V-HUB, is that what you've been seeing, the conversations you're having with partners and potential partners, is they're finally starting to come around, so to speak, see the light, if you will?
I love talking about what V-HUB does, because we start off by saying we're a trailer sharing platform, and people think that sounds interesting, but I have no idea what that means. The reality is we've already been sharing trailers for decades. So an example of sharing a trailer is a simple thing like repositioning an asset. So you say to somebody, this trailer is in a location that I don't want it to be. I'd like it to be over there. Well, this is a version of sharing where you take one trailer that you own and give custody and control to a third party. The same thing is with things like trailer interchanges or trailer pools, when different people, different stakeholders want to have access to a piece of equipment. What V-HUB does is take the process that many companies have already utilized in an analog or mechanical kind of fashion and say, let's digitize it. Let's use the fact that every single person who's listening to this and everyone across the streets and all the roads all across the highways has a supercomputer in their pocket. Like, that wasn't a thing 15 years ago, but now it's ubiquitous. So how can you take that technology and make it useful for the things that you have to do? So trailer sharing is really just about, hey, we all need to have information about this asset, and what's inside that box keeps the world moving. And so trailers are getting smarter, and we are capitalizing on the trend of smarter devices, smarter trailers, to drive a better value proposition for people that use our product.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you start to see, you know, as that gets utilized more and more and more, you start to see, well, okay, there's going to be less theft. Companies are able to utilize their assets. Freight is able to move a little bit more efficiently. And my gosh, do we need freight to move more efficiently right now in this market? Good Lord. I mean,
You've seen this firsthand with truck trailer. Is it you guys have looking for used equipment and new equipment? That's hard to do. It is hard to find assets. Just looking at trailers specifically, between 2019 and 2020, we as an industry, all the manufacturers together, made 111,000 fewer trailers in 2020. Coming into 2021, we're still facing massive supply chain crunches, not just with component suppliers, but with labor. So we know that it's going to be a long haul to get new equipment. So if you can't get new now, use what you have better. And that means using the digital tools to drive the value of the products you guys have. This is the trend that you don't get to opt out of. That's what makes it so fascinating.